Every little girl grows up dreaming about her happy ever after, but most of us don't have fairy tale scriptwriters making sure we get it. That's where the Happy Ever After show comes in. If you have been waiting for a fairy godmother to wave her magic wand and release your frustrations, create the prosperity you want, and live a life you love, then listen closely. It's time to learn how to make your own wishes come true with your host, Cassie Parks.
Hello and welcome to the Happy Ever After show. I'm your host, Cassie Parks, and I am so thrilled that you are here today. Thank you so much for taking the time to spend about a half an hour with me. I hope that it's valuable, and I look forward to connecting with you today about your business and how to create that into your Happy Ever After. I'm excited about today's show. As always, I feel like I say that every show. I'm going to talk a little bit about one of my clients who's doing really well and give you a little sneak peek at some stuff that's going on and coming your way that you'll get to hear about. I'm going to talk about knowing how, if what you're trying to manifest or create in your business is what you really want. And this is an important topic because if it's not, it's going to be really hard to get there. And I find a lot of people are in that place, but they don't know that they're in that place. So we're going to talk about that. Just got some cool stuff to share from some people that I've been working with, and of course our mantra. But before we dive into all that, I want to tell you about a new awesome gift that I have going on for you. It's called Enchanted Messages. It's actually called Enchanted Messages by Mail, and you can find it at enchantedmessagesbymail.com. And so what I've created is about once a month, you're going to get an enchanted message. So you're going to get a physical postcard in the mail because in this digital age, I find it so fun to get something physical in the mail. And this gift is I'm also like reusing things, and I like things to be practical that come to me in the mail. So there's going to be an enchanted message on the back. Different people are going to get different messages at different times. And it's really going to be that message that you need that day. So when it comes in the mail, it's going to be the perfect timing for you. And the bonus, so there's an awesome message on the back from an enchanted place. But the front actually has a picture that if you love, it's designed that you love it, you'll be able to post that on your vision board so you can reuse it that way. And then there's also a mantra that you can just cut off the bottom and put up on your mirror, on your refrigerator, anywhere where it's going to remind you. And that's going to remind you to say that mantra, to own that mantra, and also about that message, that enchanted message. So if you would love to receive something really cool in the mail from me that it really goes to your manifesting toolkit. And if you're a business owner, it's going to support creating your business by just getting this little message, that little enchanted message of either encouragement or inspiration just when you need it. And then having that mantra, if you love the mantras at the end of the show, it's great to just get it and you just put it up on your fridge or on your mirror or put it in your wallet to remind you, or your purse. And then also that picture that you can use to put on your vision board if it's something that resonates with you. So enchantedmessages.com, you can sign up there. You can find that website in the show notes as well. So sign up, get some really fun stuff in the mail. It's always nice to get something in the mail now that we're so digital, and also that's something fun versus, I don't know, maybe a bill or just an advertisement. So check that out. I'd love to have you sign up for that and keep us connected in that way. So I wanted to just share a little bit of a personal story. You know, my clients are my year-long clients. I'm so proud of them. And one in particular, her name is Lynn, and she's just doing so well. And she's doing well for a couple of reasons. Number one is that she is committed. Like when she made the choice to go all in and work with me for a year, she really committed herself on a very high level to doing that and taking the responsibility on herself to show up, to go full in. Because when my clients show up and you go full in, like that's when I can give you the best stuff. When you show up, I can show up even deeper, because if I'm trying to pull stuff out of you, I can't show up. But she showed up, and I don't do that, by the way. I don't pull stuff out of people. I'm a lighthouse and not a tugboat. So when you show up as my client, I show up as great as you show up, and we can make really cool stuff happen. And that's what's happening with Lynn. And as I think about how successful she is and how she's stepping into this really big place of her future self, she's only been working with me for 6 weeks, which is so exciting because so much of her life that she wants is manifesting around her. And She is actually agreed to come. I'm going to do an interview with her that you all will get to hear so you can hear her story and how she's done it and how she's started stepping into her future self, because it's like every day that stuff comes out of the blue and really is from that future life that she wants, but it's being created now because she's so in. She's all in. So I'm excited that you're going to get to hear from her. And I just want to take that opportunity to say, if you want to get somewhere, hire a coach. You know, she is making leaps and bounds in her life. And what I realize is that there's so many times where she starts to go a little bit off track. And I'm like, hey, is that really where you want to go? And I know with my own coach that happens, and she reminds me. And it's so important because once you start going off the path a little bit, it's like that, you know, the angle, like, so if you have an angle, it's a very short space between the two lines at the beginning, but as the line extends, it gets further and further away. And that's what happens with that dream life, your dream business, your happy ever after, is that you just start getting off a little bit, and before you know it, that gap is very wide. That's why you want to hire a coach. Like, if you want to really make an impact in the world, if you want to go somewhere, I'm not afraid to say, like, hire a coach. Doesn't have to be me. If you want it to be me, let's talk. Let's jump on a strategy session and talk about if I'm the right fit for you, because I don't know if I'm for sure the best coach for you. But find a coach, because what they provide is invaluable. It saves you time and money and energy in getting to where you want to be in your business. So I just wanted to share a little bit about Lynn and hop on my soapbox a little bit about how important it is to hire a coach. I would not be where I am today if I had not invested in coaches and if I had not made some very scary investments. Investing in a coach can be scary, and it can feel like you don't have the money. And I feel like I wouldn't be telling the truth if I didn't tell you there are times in my life I invested when I didn't have the money. And it always worked out. But I have to be honest and say that I've made scary investments. I've made really big investments. I've put stuff on my credit card. And I find it's important to be honest about that. Some people take that to mean that I'm saying like, oh, you have to do this or you have to do that. I'm just being honest about how I got where I am, because it's not fair if you think that I got where I am without investing in myself, like that all this magic just came. So I like to be honest and upfront about that. And just watching all of my clients, especially, but Lynn especially, who's just been knocking it out of the park the last 6 weeks, just watching her made me so excited for her, but also just reinforced what I already knew, that a coach is so important. Because when you just can get right back on track, when you're just like one step off versus 10 or 20 or 1,000, it saves you so much time and so much energy. And you can create what you want so much faster because you're staying in your lane. You're staying on that path to that happy ever after. So just my little shout out for hiring a coach, whoever it is. And if you want information or tips on hiring a coach, like if you've never hired a coach and you want to just talk about that, I'm also happy to talk about that. So just want to put that out there because I think that's important. To know how to hire a coach is also important. All right. So now we're going to talk about the main topic I want to talk about today. And that is, are you trying to create something that you don't really want? And I'm going to give you some ways to try and figure that out. But I think one of the biggest things is to really just become aware. Like, do I really want everything I say I want? Or am I thinking that I want it because it's going to get me somewhere else? Like, I want A because I think it's going to get me to B and C. Do I want it because I'm hearing other voices, or I'm hearing someone else say, like, this is what you have to do. This is, how you have to get to whatever it is, whether it's an income level or it's a this or it's a that. Is it someone else's voice? Just a little side note, you get to create it however you want. So that one we can handle, and I'm just going to say it right now because I take every opportunity to say this that I can, that you get to create it however you want. And the reason that this topic is coming up is I ran my workshop this weekend, and it was very clear in all the participants. There were things that they thought they wanted that they didn't want. There were things they were trying to create that hadn't been created yet or manifested yet or attracted yet, and some were in business and some were in personal life. And they hadn't been created because they didn't really want them. When we got into the meat of it, into the heart of it, and in the heart of the experience, they realized they didn't really want that experience. And they didn't want that experience how they thought they wanted that experience. And so in that situation, picture a magnet where you have them face towards each other, like there's one side where they just, and they go together. And then if you put them on the, like the opposite sides, they resist each other. They keep that space. Like you can literally try and put them together and they push away from each other. And when you are trying to create something that you don't really want, that's what happens. This constant resistance, because you don't actually want it. You think you want it, so you keep like pushing up against it and it keeps getting pushed back farther because you don't want it. And I think that happens. I know that happens because I've talked to people. It's happened to my clients. It's happened to lots of people that I've worked with over the years where they really think they want something. And let me just stop and be honest. It's what I did for a long time. I tried to create something that I didn't really want or that wasn't the right time. A lot of times that I didn't really want because I thought it was going to get me somewhere else. That was my main reason for doing it. And there's a lot of reasons that we do it. As a business owner, I'm going to speak to, because this is a business show, about creating your happy ever after in your business. As a business owner, the reason why a lot of people do it is because they think it's going to bring in the money. Like we're chasing the money. And what I've found, especially with entrepreneurs with a servant's heart, those that are spiritual, those that are probably listening to this show, is that they often get torn a little bit in following what they think will make money and what a lot of people have told them will make money and that people have said who are making money, by the way. It's not like they're just listening to their neighbor, right? But people that are making money in different industries have said, like, you have to do it this way, or you have to make this offer. You have to have your business look like this. And for whatever reason, and it might just be that I work with people with a servant's heart or who want to make a difference or who are a little bit more spiritual, but that just might be why I know that this happens with this group. It might happen with all groups, but it seems to happen a lot with this group. And I think part of it comes from untangling some of the thoughts and stuff that happen when you start your business about being able to make money, doing what you love, and serving people. And I think a lot of it, though, comes from going to build your business and trying to find people who can teach you and learning things on the internet and learning things from different people that may or may not really fit with who you are and what you want to do. But you listen, like I did this. I tried to make myself fit in a lot of boxes because people who were making money told me that's what I needed to do. And it didn't work, by the way. And that's why I emphasize that you can do it how it feels good to you and how you want to do it. So a lot of times we get caught in, I need to do this to make money in my business because we have those outside voices. And sometimes it's very good advice that isn't practical or logical or feel good for your business. So that's one of the reasons why I think that this comes up, where business owners in this realm are, spiritual-based entrepreneurs, servant's heart entrepreneurs, come up against where they're trying to create something that they don't really want. It's because someone along the way told them they had to. So that's one reason. Another reason is just that they need to make money. So it's like the easiest way that comes to your mind, like, okay, I know I can make money if I do X. So that's what you start building towards. And sometimes it's not what you really want. You're like, okay, well, I got to make money at this because this business has to work and I quit my job and I need to do it. And you realize, sometimes you don't realize, actually, that's the big problem, is here's what happens when you're trying to manifest something that you don't really want. You come up against, it just doesn't happen. There are barriers. So sometimes it looks like things just not working out. Sometimes it looks like just not being able to get clients. Sometimes it looks like not being able to get email lists. Sometimes it looks like not being able to sell your product. And part of it is that you have to want the whole picture. So often we fill in because we're not clear about what that full picture is. Nobody, in my opinion, takes enough time generally in the beginning to get clear about the whole picture and exactly what's everything they want. What do they want their business to look like? What do they want their life to look like? How do they want to feel in that life? Who do they want to be serving? And how do they want to be doing that in a way that feels really good to them? Like, so many people that get started. And again, this was me. Like I wanted X. I wanted like clients because I wanted out of my job. The truth is, I don't like working with one-on-one clients. And there's good reason for that. I love talking with people one-on-one, but I'm not in my zone of genius when I'm working one-on-one. I'm in my zone of genius. Something happens when there's a group. That's my zone of genius. And so that's where I work finally. And for years, I tried to manifest this full practice on the side, all these clients. I wanted 20 clients a week. I thought I wanted 20 clients a week. I totally did not want 20 clients a week because that doesn't feel good to me for a couple of reasons. Number one, which I think is the main one, and I didn't realize it until now, until I was just talking about my zone of genius, is that when you're in your zone of genius, it's a lot easier. So for me to work with 20 clients one-on-one takes a lot more energy than for me to work with 20 clients in a group. Now, some people are totally opposite that. 20 people in a group would be completely overwhelming and feel totally scary and draining before they even started. And those are the people who probably are rock stars at one-on-one. But I was trying to create something just because I thought that's how I would get money. I thought I could get money by doing one-on-one clients, but I didn't really want one-on-one clients. So it was that magnet pushing, right? I pushed forward and it pushed away. For years, I did that. And I had some success. It doesn't mean I never got a client. I had clients. I had times where I had, 5 or 6 clients a week as a part-time to the side to my corporate job, which is really good. But for me, that was really draining. And now I know why, because my rock star zone of genius is with a group. But I was still trying to create that, but I didn't want it. So it was never going to be created. So that's what I see happening a lot, both with my clients, people I'm working with, just watching people in their businesses. When you start digging into that clarity, because that's what I do, is get that crystal clear vision of what you want your life. What's your happy ever after look like? Like your business is your happy ever after. So if that whole vision doesn't feel like your happy ever after or your dream life or so good, it's not going to manifest super easy, especially if there's parts that you don't love in it. So like for me, anytime I try and create something that has one-on-one clients in it, I'm going to be resistant on an unconscious level. I'm going to be that magnet. And every time I go forward with it, I'm going to push back. And that's what happens to a lot of people. And that's my theory as to why a lot of people feel stuck. Like, because you do feel stuck when you sort of take one step forward and you push that magnet and then it pushes back. And then you take one step back and you go forward and you come back. And it's that energy, right? And you know, if you've played with magnets like this when you're a kid, like the more you push, like the more the other magnet pushes away. And that's what happens when your complete vision when your vision isn't complete, number one, but two, when what you think you want, there's things in it that you don't want. When your vision includes things that you don't really want, there's always going to be resistance to it. And there's good reason for that. Like you don't want to create something that you don't really want to live. So how do you get clear on this? The first thing is to just really sit down and think about what is my whole life? What do I want my whole life to look like? Not, so often with business owners, like, what do you want? It's like, I want 10 clients a week. Cool. What's happening in the other hours of your week, right? What's happening in the other, I'm making a guess, like 90 hours of your week or however long is in a week. Like, what are you doing with the rest of those hours? Start thinking about all of that. What do you want it all to look like? Because if the pieces don't fit together, it won't manifest, right? Like if you want a ton of time off, if you want to be free to like travel, but you're like constrained by certain things that you have to do in your business, you're going to not manifest those things that are going to constrain you in your business, which is probably where you're bringing in revenue. So I want to reiterate, you can create it however you want, but getting clear starts with thinking about the whole picture. And I go through this step by step in my book, Lifestyle Design for a Champagne Life. So you can also grab that, or you can just email me, Cassie@CassieParks.com, and I'll send you a free copy. So that's a great place to start, is to actually like really think about the whole picture. And I mean the whole picture. And when you think you're clear, see if you can get even clearer. See if you can pull out even more details. Because what you might find either at the beginning of the process or at the end is that there's something in there that you don't really want. And then you can take that out and you can rework the puzzle, because the puzzle is always going to work out. Like you're always going to be able to fit the pieces together. And the easier they fit together and the better it feels, all the parts of your life and your business, the easier that business is going to be created and manifest. Because you're going to be, instead of the sides of the magnet that push against each other, you're going to be the sides of the magnet that attract each other. And you're going to attract the people and the resources and everything that you need. So if you feel like you're that magnet pushing against one step forward, one step back, really take a look at what you want. And I would encourage you to find a coach if you can't do it on your own. It's hard to see the forest through the trees. So it always helps to have someone else like ask the questions, because often when we try and get clear on our own, the very thing that we can't see is the thing we won't ask ourselves. So we won't get clarity on that because we can't even see that we should like be examining that. So it's always helpful to get a coach. Again, that's the theme of this episode, but especially in this place, trying to get through the clarity and create clarity, and having a coach just, ask you, well, like, does this mean that? Or do you really want this? And well, like you're saying you want these two things. This happens a lot when I work with clients, like you want this and you want this, and they don't match. You can't create both of those either, because like one is like, you want to work this many hours a day, but then you don't want to work this many hours a day. You want 5 clients, but you only want to work 4 hours a day, and each client is an hour. Like you can't have 5 clients and work 4 hours a day if they take an hour a client. And so what happens in that situation is nothing manifests. The universe doesn't send you 4 clients. The universe sends you nothing, because it can't send you the 5 clients that you want, because they don't fit with the other puzzle piece. So that magnet just keeps resisting, back to back, pushing against each other. And that's where a coach can come in, because they can help you see that. You can't see that a lot of times on your own. Somebody else has to point out, like, hey, that's not the same thing. So get clarity, sit down, take hours, not just minutes, to really get clear on the life that you want to be living and what your total happy ever after is. And like I said, all of these steps are in my book, Lifestyle Design for a Champagne Life. You can simply email me, Cassie@CassieParks.com, and I'll send you a free copy. And then you can start to get that clarity, which is going to break open those things that you don't want. And it's going to make manifesting those things that you really want so much easier. So that is the main things that I wanted to talk about today. I did want to share just from one of my clients when I posted about the enchanted messages. She shared it and she just said, Cassie really is a magician. I'm working with her right now, and this is very cool. So just wanted to share her success. There's just one thing left to tell you today, and that's the mantra. Today's mantra is, I follow my heart. And this ties so perfectly into what we've talked about today. It's really, what does your heart want, and getting clear on that and knowing that that is going to be so much easier to create than anything your heart's not thrilled about. So your mantra for today, I follow my heart. Say it as often as you can this week, and watch how you find some clarity in what you do and don't want in your business. I follow my heart. Until next time, keep creating your happy ever after. Talk to you soon.
Thanks for joining us on the Happy Ever After Show, where you don't need a genie lamp to get your wishes granted. Now that you're inspired and ready to take action, get yourself on the path to your happy ever after by scheduling a complimentary strategy session at createmyhappyeverafter.com.